Today we'll be starting poles of a magnet. Now if you have a magnet, or if you have seen a magnet like this as a rectangular piece, if you roll this magnet on suppose you have spread many pins, the all pins that is made up of iron, on a piece of paper, and if you roll the pins, you will notice that the pins do not maximum of the pin attracts at the, or is attached to this magnet at the two ends, and the pins on the body, they are very less. So why do this, why it is that the whole thing is a magnet, isn't it? So why the pins are getting attached to the ends of the magnet, means in more quantity than in the body, on the body. So this is because means the power of magnet is maximum at both the ends of the magnet. Okay, now suppose if this is a magnet, let me show. If this is a magnet, and if I roll this thing on number of pins spread on a paper or anywhere, what you will see, we will see that pin maximum of the pins are attached this side, and here only few of them are attached. Why? Because if this is a magnet, the maximum power of attracting iron things of a magnet is at the two ends of the magnet. Okay, they are at the two ends of the magnet. These two ends are known as poles, or you can say they are known as magnetic poles. Okay, so these are the poles of a magnet, the two ends of the magnet where the magnet has the maximum power, or you can see it is the strongest at that part, is known as the magnetic poles. Here you see they have given you the this definition. These are the regions near the ends in the bar magnet where magnetic forces are the strongest. Okay. Now here, to observe the power of a magnet is the strongest at this end. Means what I was saying, that the strongest at this end. How will you observe that? How will you see that? Take iron clips or iron fillings and spread on a sheet of paper. Roll a bar magnet over them and lift it up. What you observe, you will observe that the iron clips or the iron filling get stuck near the two ends of the magnet. Remove the iron clips or the iron fillings and repeat the above step again. What did you observe? The same pattern of iron clips are getting stuck to the magnet. This shows that the iron clips of filling always stick to the near to the ends. Okay, so this I had explained you what are magnetic poles. Now to this activity number 13.5, to observe that a freely suspended magnet comes and rests in a particular direction only. Now if suppose this is a magnet, if I suspend it freely, what do you mean by suspending it freely? Means you are as see they have tied up with this rope. If I tie up with this rope and just hold the rope, suppose if I tie this thing with a rope and just hold it, okay, so that is means suspending it freely. That means suspending it freely means अगर हम लोग इसमें एक डोरी बांधते हैं, डोरी पकड़ के एक दूसरा एंड ऑफ डोरी हाथ से पकड़े रहते हैं, that means suspending freely. I hope you have made it clear. So take a bar magnet, put a mark on one of its end for identification. Means you have this bar magnet, you just mark it at one end, so that you know that means just for identification, just for understanding. Otherwise when it moves, you will since both the ends are same, you won't understand that same end is coming in one direction. So take a thread and tie it in the middle of the bar magnet. Now suspend it freely from a hook or a laboratory stand as shown in the figure. What do we observe? You will observe that the magnet rotates and comes to rest in a particular direction. Okay, means when you are holding the magnet freely, when you are suspending the magnet freely, it will come and rest. Even if you just move it like this, it will again come and rest in a particular direction. Again you move it, again it will come to rest and sit in a particular direction. Disturb the magnet from its rest position, it will come and rest. This you will find that the magnet rests in that particular direction only. Means this magnet will always rest in a particular direction. It will not change its direction. So why is it so? In activity 13.5, you have observed that a freely bar always comes to a particular direction, which is the north-south direction. Means the direction in which this magnet is settling down is north-south. One end is north and other end is south. Okay. So from here we can know that the magnet always comes to rest in a north-south direction. This means that one of the pole ends to points towards north, and that pole, and the pole that points towards north is known as north seeking pole, or you can say simply north pole, and the other end that points towards south is called south seeking pole or south pole. Okay, S pole means south pole and N pole means north pole. You can just simply say that the magnet has two poles, one is north pole and one is south pole. The pole that points towards north is known as north pole, and the pole that points towards south is known as south pole. Clear? Now this property of magnet is very useful. Why? We'll be knowing it. For centuries, travelers used to find direction with the help of magnets which they carried with them. Now, Huang Ti, an emperor of China, had a chariot with a statue of lady with an extended arm. The statue would rotate in any direction and always rest with its extended arm towards south direction. The emperor used to locate direction when he used to go on a chariot to new places. Now this emperor of China, he had a chariot. Chariot means a rath, which we say rath in Hindi. जो राजा लोग जिस पर चढ़ के यहाँ से वहाँ जाते थे, वो रथ, that is known as chariot. And on that chariot he had a statue of a lady. Statue means murti. Statue means murti. So he had a statue of a lady with an extended arm. Means a standing lady was there and her hand was pointing in one direction. Clear? The statue would always rotate in any direction and would always come to rest with its extended arm towards the south direction. Now that statue would rotate. It was not a fixed statue. It can rotate, means it can move, and the arm used to always point towards south. So that what happened if the emperor knew that this particular direction is south, then the other direction he could calculate. He could know that the opposite will be north, and on the east, on the others will be east and west. So when he used to go to new places, he used to use this chariot. Later on, a device called magnetic compass was developed based on the properties of magnets. A magnetic compass consists of a magnetized needle pivoted inside a small box with a glass cover on it. See, this is a compass and this is a needle, and inside here you have a magnet somewhere, where this needle with a red point, I'll show you an actual compass in a picture. I'll send you the picture. So this point which always points, so you can see this picture clearly. This is a needle and this is red marked. So this red mark will always point towards north. Okay, this will always, and this dial has all the directions. See, north, south, west, northwest, north, northeast, east, southeast, south. But it will always point, this pointer will always point towards north. Okay. The magnetic compass is a dial which is direction. To find the direction of a place, the magnetic compass is taken to that place. The needle of the compass starts rotating till the painted end reaches the north marked on the compass, and this indicates the direction in which the place is located. So this is, I'll send you a video on the working of a compass, how the compass works. So you just learned that a magnet has two poles, and what happens when the magnet is cut into parts. Now I told you, suppose this is a magnet and it has two poles, and one is north pole and one is south pole. The pole that points towards north will be north pole, and the point that ends towards south will be south pole. Now suppose if I cut this magnet in two pieces, what will happen? This magnet, suppose now you think if this is a whole magnet, okay, and I have cut it in two parts. What will happen? Because I had already told this is North Pole, and suppose this was North Pole, this was South Pole. Now when I have cut, what will happen? Now this will act as one magnet and this will act as one magnet. So this will also have a North Pole, South Pole, this will also have a North Pole and South Pole. Again, if I cut this magnet, again the two pieces which will have, it will have North Pole, South Pole, North Pole, South Pole. So each piece of magnet will have a North Pole and South Pole. Okay, so we can say what? A magnetic pole always exists in pair. Means we cannot have a magnet with only North Pole, or we cannot have a magnet only with only South Pole. Always on a magnet, a North Pole and a South Pole will be there together, means in a pair. Clear? Now let's see what happens when a North Pole of a magnet is brought closer to the South Pole of a magnet and vice versa. This means, suppose what I was saying is, in this magnet, this is North Pole, this is South Pole, this is North Pole, this is South Pole. The pink end is the North Pole and the other is the South Pole. Okay. Now what will happen if I bring both the North Pole together? Okay. Or what will happen if I bring both South Pole together? What will happen? This we will see. To observe attraction and repulsion of magnetic pole. Take a bar magnet with North Pole and South Pole marked, North Pole and South Pole marked. Tie a thread in the middle and suspend it. Okay. Take another bar magnet with North Pole and South Pole. Take another bar magnet with North Pole and other is South Pole. Bring the North Pole towards the North Pole. Now, and bring the South Pole towards near the South Pole. Now bring the South Pole of the magnet near the North Pole, and then, so means they are telling you, once you bring North Pole near North Pole, once you bring South Pole near South Pole, again once you bring South Pole near North Pole, and you bring North Pole near South Pole. This is the thing they have given. Now they have not given what you will observe, but I am telling you, when you bring North Pole and South Pole, okay, means one magnet is one end of the magnet. There are two magnets. One of the magnets North Pole, another magnet South Pole. Then there will be attraction. Okay, attraction means they both will come and stick together. Okay, suppose this is this thing. Just a minute. This is this is the North Pole, I have said. So if I bring North Pole and South Pole together, they will stick together. This means attraction. If I bring North Pole and North Pole together, what will happen? They won't attract, they will move like this. They will deflect this way or this way. They will deflect. Okay, that will repel. We say that will repel. So South to South Pole and South Pole, it will repel. So what does it means? Like poles repel each other, whereas opposite poles attract each other. Means if it's North Pole, they will repel each other, or South Pole, repel each other. If it's North Pole, South Pole, it will attract each other, or South Pole, it will attract each other. Okay, so this is a fact. See, they have written, like poles repel each other and unlike poles attract each other. This you have to remember. This is a very important fact for magnet. Clear? So it's very important. You have to remember that. Now this comes very you'll be happy with this. You can try to make your own magnet. How can you try to make your own magnet? Just a second. Okay. Now, how can you make your own magnet? There are 2 or 3 ways how you can make your own magnet. This process is how you have to make. When an unmagnetized iron piece is brought closer to a magnet repeatedly, the iron piece becomes magnet. Now, this is that, suppose if you have an iron piece Okay, that is, all the iron pieces are not magnet. So all the iron pieces are not magnet. So if you bring another iron piece, a magnet near an iron piece, and you start rubbing with it, then the iron piece will ultimately become a magnet. Means it will act as a magnet, and this process is known as magnetic induction. See, this is how you do the magnetic induction thing. This is the magnet, this is the iron piece. You start moving, you all start rubbing like this. You can't rub like this. If you rub like this, this iron piece won't become a magnet. You have to rub in one direction only. Okay. So if you are continuously stroking it, it's not 2 times or 3 times. You have to stroke it many times, depending upon the power of the magnet and depending upon the iron piece which you are using. Ultimately, this iron piece which you are using, it will also act as a magnet, and this process is known as magnetic induction. Clear? So now this is the same thing which they have explained. So they have told you, repeat this 30 to 40 times. This you can do it at home also. If you have a very small magnet, I'll show it to you. It's better, I'll show it to you. Then you have, am I right? Okay. Then make your own magnetic compass. How will you make your own magnetic compass? After learning to magnetize any iron object, you can also make your own magnetic compass. How? For this, you need to magnetize an iron awl pin or an iron needle using a bar magnet as described above. Now take a small piece of wooden cork or foam and insert the magnetized iron awl pin through it in its upper part. You can see they have done it here. Okay. Take a cup or a bowl full of water and place the cork in it. The cork will flow